Wendy. Welcome back.
Yes,
Yeah, welcome
we're
back to Organic
almost
Business.
doing a habit, Anna. Can you believe it? They say
Yes,
21 days, 21
that is
things, and
true.
you have a habit. Thank
Yeah,
you for the listeners here with us today and those who are watching us on YouTube. And
yeah,
this is a good to be here.
yeah. Yeah, it's so good. And today's episode is going to expand a little bit more on the last episode. So the title is "What bribe did you give to wake up today?" But before we get
Mm,
into that, this concept expands on the idea of living in the present moment, right? So this particular concept though focuses on why you woke up today. So it
mm.
might be a little weird question, right? So why don't you, Mubarak, start to explain the idea behind this question?
Yeah, this is every time I forget about this question, every time I don't focus on it, I always pay a big price. But every time I do, it takes the last episode to another level, right? Takes productivity to another level because it gives purpose to our life. And a good example that I like to use, mm, uh, hopefully everybody who is listening this has went to buy something, right? You go in the store, you say, I want X, you get X, you pay something and you get it, right? Now you have given something to have something. But
Right.
in life, it's not like that, right? You never woke up and in another planet and said, oh, I want to go on the planet Earth and here's my ticket. I'm buying it. So it's, I paid to be here. I paid to participate. No, there was no bribe. There was nothing. There was no contribution you made to be here. Just think
Yeah.
about it, right? So that it's itself, before we even go deeper, the life owes you nothing, but you owe it everything.
Hmm.
So when you wake up and knowing that you didn't give a bribe, just think, just again from our world view of things. If, let's say, I don't know about you listeners, but I would like to say that my parents who gave me this life, I came through them to be here. My mom nourished me and doing everything. The same thing to her. I never bribed her. Let's use that as an example. I never bribed her. I never did anything, but meaning then in that sense, from a simple that if you, I hope that you have a good relationship with your parents. That all I can hope, right? Is you owe her. You owe her to respect her, to cherish her, to know how important she is, that without her taking care of you, excuse me, taking care of you, making sure that you become an adult, whatever. Because she had so many other choices that she could have taken that you would not be here listening to us. Just
Yeah.
think about it, right? So the same thing with the grand things of life itself was why you're here, right? There is a meaning to it. What that meaning? The meaning is that you still have a job to do. There's something that you need to finish, because if you already finish what you need to do, you won't be here. And
Yeah.
I love lemons, right? I love lemons. So I'm going to use an example as a lemon, right? When you go to buy a lemon, right, you buy it. You go buy fresh lemon and you bring it. Depending on how you use the lemon, right, you can cut it up and squeeze the water out. What do you do with the last thing? You discard it because
Yeah.
it's no longer useful.
Hmm.
Or some people, women, of course, who like cooking, even men, you can get the lemon and start wrap it like the skin, right?
Hmm.
Removing the skin. Still, at one point, you're gonna get left with something that you no longer need. What do you do
Hmm.
with it? You let it go, right? So if you're here, and that means that you still have work. You're doing work, even though that work maybe even you're not aware of it, But you being alive, you are playing a big role in this planet. Now, my question to you, are you going to participate? Are you going to work against that big force?
Mm, that's so good. It's so good because um I was actually having this conversation with my husband last night as we were falling asleep. We usually just like chat right before bed, right? And right now he's very focused on being really good at trading the markets, right? And for him, he doesn't understand why I like to do like different things and I have all these interests and stuff. It's like you would be so much more successful if you can focus on this one thing. Because for him, he doesn't think like me, right? For him it's like he likes the simple, he likes to just focus on this thing and that. And I said, but I feel like you have a much bigger purpose than just being a really good trader. You're here on earth for a bigger purpose, for a bigger mission, right? And maybe the trading is your way to get there, right? Because for me the vision is much bigger, right? And so there's many ways to get to that vision, and to help people with their own mission and purpose. Because I realize that not many people are aligned or even know that there's that deeper mission and purpose, right? So, yeah, I don't even know where I'm getting with that or what triggered that. But yeah, you said that last statement you said.
Yeah. Uh, from that point that I finished with that you either join or work
You
against the
participate.
force. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
and then you know what happens when you're working against the biggest thing, right? That means that it's going to require you a lot of energy. You're not going to be here. You're going to be always frustrated and things are not going to work out.
Yes.
But when you're working, you're in flow,
Yeah.
you're in,
Mhm,
but you're
mhm.
just cruising along the way where it takes you, that's where you're going, because nobody nobody knows, even the doctors who can say, we're giving you 6 days, we're giving you 4 hours. Nobody knows at what minute and second that you're going to end your life. People say, oh, but how about if I shoot you? Yeah, even if you shoot someone, you don't know when the last breath is going to go. No, even if you
Yeah.
cut them their head, the sciences and studies that have shown people have been cut their heads and they live longer, like 2, 3, 4, 5 hours, right? Yeah, so that's the miracles of that power that we're talking about. So it's funny you talked about that. Now, me too, I want to share something that I recently shared with my wife, right? And I hope it can make sense to people who are viewing, because probably you're hurting, right? Or something's not going
Your
your
way.
way. Just say that, right? You think your way, you're the smartest guy, and you think your way should have been given a priority, right? You say, I wish I can give bribe so that I can have my way because you're the smartest person. Let's assume that's correct. And maybe you're not the smart, but you're hurting. Something's not working out, right? You're in pain, body pain, whatever it is. So I was having conversations with my wife. I told her she has a best friend back home, right? Very best friend that they grew up together. They have lots of memories, right? And this young girl too, she has no parents. She lost her boss parents. The boss parents passed away. And at this moment, she's by herself. And the older sister too, she moved on, right? And she's in this country where she's at, and she's depending on a mercy of other people, right? Sending her some things because she has no work, she can't work due to some other circumstances. And I asked my wife, I'm like, what did she do wrong to be in that position,
Mm.
right? What could have she done to be in a position. She says, I don't think she's the most best, sweetest heart I have ever seen. I'm like, you're right. But if that's true, can you trade presses? If it was possible right now, can you trade the press for her to go in what she's living right now? No, I can't do that. Okay. So, but let's think about it. Let's look at another point of view. American, what did God protect her from not
Mm,
bringing her here?
yeah.
She's like, huh, I never thought about it. I'm like, okay, so let's take the same reverse. How about you? What did you give? What did you do to be in the position you are right now? Right? You still
Hmm.
have your mom and dad, right? You have sisters and brothers around you. You have a husband that loves you. You have 4 children. You don't have to worry about the food. You don't have to worry about rent. What did you do that she didn't do? If you can go tell her that do this step, do you think there is any checks that you can give her? She says, there is none. But the same thing, what did God protect you from? Taking you from
Mm,
that environment to bring you here.
yeah. Yeah.
So it works both ways. I'm like, yeah, it
Yeah.
works both ways. So you who is going through whatever you're going through, it's just for a minute or two, think about the other side. What could you be being prevented from that could have been worse? One of them is that you're alive. That's the most important thing you need to remember. And you didn't participate in that. There's no bribe you gave. Say, I want to wake up today to listen to Mubarak and Anna.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's how deep you can go on this concept and really start looking how fortunate you are. Because let's be honest. Because at this moment you're listening to me, but do you know that there is one moment you're going to be listening to this and you're going to hear that, oh, wow, it's sad. Mubarak is no longer with us, right? But I am here right now with this moment, the chances I'm being given. But at that moment, my work would have done, my purpose would have done, my purpose would have been me to record these recordings for you so that you can have it longer than my life. Think
Yeah.
about the potential that you have and the life you live in today to be able to leave such a legacy
Yeah.
without any bribe. There's nothing. For example, whatever you are, how much money or how much possession things can I give to you to say take away your life? You're gonna say, that's a stupid question. Because if you take away my life, what am I gonna enjoy these things? That's the point.
Yeah.
That's where there's nothing you can give to be alive. But it's very important what you do when you're alive.
Hmm.
And when things they're going certain way, stop a moment to say, what am I being protected from? Just think about the power of that question. Instead of saying things are not going my way, and you shift it to what am I being protected from?
Yeah. I like that. So that brings me to something that I always add, whether I'm praying or I'm making a request, right, to my guides, to the angels or whatever, right? I always say at the end, for my highest good and the highest good of all, right? And so when things like that happen and things don't go my way,
Mm.
and I'm like, well, it's not for my highest good that I get that,
Ah, exactly.
right?
What a powerful shift.
Yes. Yes, definitely. Because you can go the other way around, like you said, and be like, oh my gosh, I never get my way, and be like so resentful and whatever, whatever, and then go into this kind of victimhood mentality and all that stuff, right? But the other way around is empowering because, like, it
Yeah.
forces you to shift now your mind to what is for my highest good if this is not it.
Funny, Anna, you say that, and I can share a story because depending on when you're watching the recording, at the time of recording yesterday, I had no yesterday, a day before yesterday, I believe. my car broke down on a street,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And I was with my family, right? And so we're there in the process. I'm calm than ever. I'm having fun. The kids are outside in a parking lot having blast, right? Cut the story short, the process ended yesterday, right? But here is what I was thinking. I was like, okay, what was it that uh car breaking down purpose is? Here's I have one of my best friend, and he's like a brother to me, like he's a father figure, so many things. Mark, I have talked about him so many times, right? So I call him. I'm like, hey, I would you mind giving me a ride? I'm going to the shop to pick up my car. Um, would you do that? He says yes. Then when he just said yes, I just remembered. I'm like, wow, I have always wanted to introduce him to the owner of this repair shop. Always wanted to, right? And like it or not, whatever, to me, that's what I got from everything. I'm like, ah, all this happened so that these two men can meet, right? And my mind, I can't help but what opportunities and benefits and things. How many people are gonna benefit because these two gentlemen met? Because they're
yeah,
both busy, both have their own life, but I whatever with my smartness, every time I work it out, it doesn't work. When I try to
yeah,
make them meet, it doesn't work. But now here, just my car had to break down for them to meet. And I'm like, if that's the price, I'm okay with it. I'm
yeah,
contented.
yeah,
So it took me because honestly, I was looking like, what's good about this experience that I'm missing?
right.
And it just showed up right there. I'm like, wow, that was my purpose. That was the purpose of these events. Done. Whoo!
Yeah, it's so amazing when you see it that way because that connection can have that ripple effect, like you said, right?
Yeah,
Um, same. So like this shift is such a powerful shift, and so like if you can um make this shift in perspective, I think it's very powerful. And I'll give you another example too that made me realize um in hindsight, right now that I've gone through the experience, because we can only get the insights from the hindsights, right? So thinking back, um, when that whole thing happened with the gym, right? If you, I don't know if I've already talked about this. So when I owned the gym, we had some misunderstandings with my business partner, and so I decided to just leave the industry altogether. And here I am thinking I was going to do this forever, right? At that time, I was not sure exactly why it was happening, right? Like something you've worked on, like it's like a 10-year-old baby, right, that you started from scratch and you like cultivated this business. It's literally a 10-year-old baby at that point. And at that time it's like I don't know why this is happening and why I have to do this right now, but I was at peace with that decision to ultimately leave the business. And now when I tell people the story, they're like, "Oh my gosh, this happened in 2019. This happened at the end of 2019. And guess what happened in 2020?" Right? The lockdown happened. And it's like God was protecting you, right? Who would have seen that? No one would have seen that, right? In the gym industry, all yes, a lot of gyms are still in existence, but it affected the gym industry heavily. And like knowing me, I definitely would have figured out a way to make it work. But like imagine what a nightmare that could have been, right? So God was protecting me from that experience and also to shift me to where I'm supposed to be, which is here with you, Mubarak, recording this podcast and creating Organic Reach X and affecting even more, like a wider audience and more people through the work that we do because it is global, right? Instead of just a local gym, right? So it's just so many things like that where it's like, if like Will One of our mentors always says you can't see the forest from the trees, right? During those times when you can't see the forest from the trees, like if it is this is from my highest good, then what was I protected from? What is from my highest good, and what is next, and what am I gonna do next? Because this happened, right? So yeah,
And knowing that there was no bribe that you did, it
yeah,
all was done from organic.
yeah,
There's nothing you had to do for those things to happen, good or bad, whatever you
yeah,
define it. It comes down to the meaning you give it and the
yeah,
purpose you give it, right?
yeah,
And yes, okay.
yeah. And
Please let us know.
it means that you still have a purpose and a mission here on earth, and so
Yes.
appreciate that, right? Every breath, every moment. Again, from the previous episode, live in the present moment, right? Um, and find what it is the lesson that you can learn now for the next phase.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this is awesome. All
awesome.
right, well, I guess we can end here. This has been Organic Reach X. Thank you for listening,
We show you how to go with the flow organically in your business.
and we'll see you next time.